Hi, everybody. Sanbonani. Welcome to Reality Bars TV. So, like when it comes to the Mseleku family, there's so much interest in the wives. Okay, we're always talking about the wives, what they do, what they say, what they do for a living. And we don't pay as much attention to Mseleku, to be honest, you guys. Even though he is the one that has put this whole thing together. He is the one that has put this family together. He is the one that is actually the polygamist. Okay, I guess the wives are polygamists too, but they have one partner. He has multiple partners. Okay, so if there's one person that we should actually be more fascinated with is Ubaba Mseleku. And I was thinking earlier on, it's amazing how I've never heard Baba Mseleku talk about his father. Okay. Or maybe he did earlier on, like in earlier seasons, but he talks a lot about his mom, but more so his grandmother, but not a lot about his father. I'm even wondering, you guys, is Mseleku his father's surname or is it his mom's maiden name? Umseleku owakamseleku noma umseleku is a surname sasekhaya, uzalelwe ekhaya, because he puts so much emphasis on his mother and grandmother more than his father, you know, which is another thing, you guys, because actually we've never really met Abantu Bagamseleku. So it just made me wonder, you guys, and I ended up just going on Google just to find out a little bit more about Bagamseleku. What don't we know about Bagamseleku, more specifically when it comes to him and his parents? Who are his parents? But I was more interested in finding out ukuthi, what information is out there about his father. And when I was looking at this information, you guys, this is his biography. Okay, they saying, information on Musa Mseleku's parents. They're saying his parents are Joyce Mseleku Nomatemba, the late mother, and Piwe Flo Dingile Mseleku. Mseleku always talks about Goku Flo. And then I was like, this is strange. Ubane ukuthi makuthiwa, who are your parents? At It's my mother and my grandmother, you know. And for this to be like on like an official Google record that his parents are Joyce Mseleku and Flo Dingile Mseleku, I'm like, okay. But also, you guys, is it not interesting because Ugogo, the grandmother, ugogo Flo, they are saying udingile Mseleku. Let's just assume ukuthi ugogo Flo was married to the Mseleku family. Now, even Mseleku's mother is Joyce Mseleku. Okay, so that means that Umaga Mseleku did not get married because she is using the same surname as ugogo. Then does it mean ukuthi ubaba Mseleku wazalelwa ekhaya, ingane yazalelwa ekhaya? You know? And this is interesting because Ubaba Mseleku has very interesting ideas about women who have kids before marriage and all of that, and trying to find partners after that. Is it because Ubaba Mseleku had a bad experience when maybe his mother was trying to find a partner while having him as a son? Because it does sound like him. You guys, listen, am I thinking about this correctly when I say if this the grandmother's surname and the mother's surname are the same, then that means that the mother never got married. Like for an example, my grandmother's surname is Ungobo, and my mother's surname is Umdleje because my mother got married to the Mdleje family. So I thought that is interesting, you guys, because I've always assumed to go to the Mseleku family, it's his father's surname. But it was always interesting too that we never hear Obaba Mseleku talk about his father. Where is Obaba Mseleku's father? Is it did he have one of those fathers that just disappear, because men pella, they give themselves that option. I don't want to say men do have that option because they actually don't have, but for some reason they find a way to give themselves that option to walk away. One thing, you guys, that always impresses me, I'm always impressed by a man that did not have a father but is able to be a good father. Because I do feel like Obamsele, guys, is not a terrible father. There are things that I have issues with when it comes to his parenting of his kids. But I feel like for the most part, you guys, he is a good father. I think the things that I have issues with is his beliefs, especially when it comes to the differences in raising girls and raising boys, because I do feel like he believes in that thing of abafana babalekile namantombazane, and he seems to just think highly of boys, compared to girls. Okay, that's just one issue, but I do feel like he is a good father. And I think it's interesting that we don't hear anything of his father. And if I had to assume, because I would say he must not have been a good father if he's not mentioned anywhere. Okay. And yeah, you guys. Anyway, so they're saying here Musa Mseleku is 48 years old. His birthplace is at Umzumbe, KwaZulu-Natal. His date of birth is 22 June 1975. So at a young age, he built himself a business empire. Consequently, the famous TV personality is said to have estimated worth of 36 million. He hails from KwaZulu-Natal and is of a Zulu ancestry. Okay. So Musa Mseleku was raised by his late mother, Joyce Nomathemba Mseleku, and grew up in a humble background as his family wasn't financially well off. He, however, escaped poverty through hard work and his mother's blessings. Joyce blessed her son on her deathbed, okay, declaring that he would end up poor. He wouldn't end up poor, okay. Thankfully, her blessings have come true as Musa Mseleku ranks as the affluent man in South Africa. You guys, he did talk about that experience of when his mother was sick. I just want to go back here because I want to see something. When his mother was sick, he did mention that it was a very hard time for him. So I want to get this started. Oh, Joyce is the mother and Flo is the grandmother. Okay, yeah. So he did talk about that experience to say that when his mother was very ill, he was working in Devon at the time. I think he was doing something for Ukozi, and he had to quit his job and go back home and take care of his mother. And he talked about the trauma of being a boy child, having to take care of your mother in her death bed, and how hard that was, and that no relatives were willing to help, and it was very hard, and he had to do basically everything for his mother. Okay. The eminent entrepreneur developed love for wanting a large family by being around his mother, younger sister, and grandmother, Piwe Flo Dingile Mseleku, while growing up. Okay. So this is, I believe that is this Flo. Our grandmother Flo came back through Abongo. Listen, you guys, I always wonder ukuthi ingane zamsele kuzifana nobani, because honestly they don't look like their mothers. Okay, I think ingane that look like their mother is ingane zikaMangwabe, you know. But as ezinye, I'm like, you know. So now we can see here. Here's Gok Flo here. She looks so much, or let me say, Abongo looks so much like her grandmother. It's like it's like a younger version of the Abongo is a younger version of Goku Flo. So here it is, you guys. So I guess maybe we can assume that Obaba Mseleku never really had his father present in his life. Maybe that's the reason that he never really mentioned him. I think it would be really interesting to hear what that experience was like. That's why, you guys, I've said before that I feel like on Uthando Nestembo, everybody will be showing up for work except for Babum Seleko. When I say that, I'm saying that everybody will be having a storyline on Uthando Nestembo except for Babum Seleko. Babum Seleko was just floating around, floating around with other people's storylines. The only time he had some kind of a storyline was the number one, the number five issue, when he was there to take number five, but that was like over dragged. It was dragged over 3, 4 seasons unnecessarily. Okay. So when I say it doesn't show up for work, you guys, I do feel like there are things about Seleku's life that we don't get to hear about on the show, and he's been able to get away with 7 whole seasons without getting, like, really getting into his life. Okay, what really made you even want to get on is simple. Not just what you wanted 20 kids, okay? But sometimes there are deeper reasons as to why you want the things that you want, okay? And maybe, the absence of a father has an impact or has contributed to that. We may never know. Anyway, you guys, this is on Google if you want to read more about Musa Mseleku, his businesses, how he made money. He's spoken about it. He even has books that he has written on how he started his businesses. Anyway, you guys, I was more interested in the father thing. Okay, what happened to his father? Here are the companies, you guys, that they say Musa Mseleku is a director of Ibodwe Lase Africa Trading, Uphumelela Group, Lwandle Lwami Trading. I don't know if this one is Lwandle's company. So it's Lwandle's name. Let's have fish and African traditional food. Listen, amagama lama companies are very interesting. Emizamweni Trading, Masizenzele Human Development Center, hashtag Turn Up the Love, Lwandlelezi Construction, MCM Property Development. Okay, I guess he's into all sort of businesses. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me, you guys, if you are somebody that watched the show, has he ever spoken about his father, Obaba Mseleku? Maybe I missed it in one of the seasons. And if you remember when he spoke about him, please let me know so that I can go check out that episode. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Tanda. Cool.